following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And it's on to Philadelphia here in the SWBC podcast studio. It's a short week.
Thank God.
Christmas Eve, 3:25 in the afternoon. It's the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, and some of the luster has come off that game after what happened on Sunday in Jacksonville. Welcome to Mick Shots. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and the star of the show who will explain everything, Mickey Spagnola.
He will make us all feel better.
I was going to say, for what? What do you think the odds of Cowboys winning out and the Eagles losing out?
That game, I think they suspected it would be the most watched game in NFL history. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Well, you know what? It still will be watched because
no doubt.
There's going to be a lot of people hoping that Philadelphia just pounds the Cowboys, who have already been put 1.5-point favorites in the game.
Yep. How about that?
Go figure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what were the odds of the Minnesota Vikings coming from 33 points down to beat the Indianapolis Colts? What were the odds of a New England Patriot player throwing a football across the field on the final play of the game? And former Patriot Chandler Jones returning it for a touchdown. Mickey, there's still a chance.
Or the Chiefs having to go into overtime against the Texans.
I know. Boy, the Chiefs suck.
Yeah.
They suck. Jeez, Mahomes is horrible.
I'm sure they were 20-point favorites, right? You know what? I understand all that. I understand clinching the playoffs, but it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you did all you did in that game on the road against Jacksonville, against a good Jacksonville team, by the way, and then you lose on a tip ball interception return for a touchdown in overtime. It's just, I tell you what, here was my reaction to the pick six when I realized the guy was going to score, and it's not good radio, but if anybody's watching us, my mouth was left wide open like, are you kidding me?
You know, they always tease about the Cowboys doing Cowboy things. Mm-hmm. This is a Cowboy thing. You know, you almost, and as a fan, you know, you get frustrated throughout the decades and you get like, okay, how can we, you know, the catch wasn't the catch.
Right.
Right? You know, we're ready to come back against the Packers, and here comes Aaron Rodgers with the pirouette to Cook.
Right.
Just, you know, it's right there in your hand.
You want me to go back to the ice bowl?
13 and 3.
Yeah. Lose to the Giants.
Lose to the Giants. You know, these are kind of things that, you know, they just kind of stack up against you. And, yeah, this is one of them, classic. Because at first I couldn't see what happened. I'm like, dude, don't tell me you did another dumb move like that. You know, I just knew Dak just choked. I just knew he had a brain for it.
Catch the ball. Just catch it.
That's how great moments are made and lost.
Right?
Right there. You're going to catch it or not. You know, is this going to be the beginning of a 98-yard drive like we had against the Texans, or is it just going to be another flame out?
Do you want to go dive right into that play right off the bat here?
We can, yes.
All right, what were you thinking at the outset of that play? It's 3rd and 3, roughly at midfield.
They were at the 47.
At whatever yard line, they're roughly middle of the field. All right, so it's 3rd and 3. So what were you thinking as pre-snap? What were you thinking? What were you looking at?
I was thinking that if I was going to be aggressive, I would run the ball twice. I'd go for it on 4th down if I didn't make it. Like if I ran for 2 yards, then I'd go for it on 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then they would make it, and everyone would be all over Coach Spagnola this morning.
Yeah, I would not have done that. I would not
so
have done
you
that.
would have.
No, but what were you seeing? What were you?
I probably would have played it safe, and if I would have gone for it, I would have passed on 3rd down the way we did. Everything that they called, I would have done that. I would not have gone for it on 4th down, only because then
you're
field
10
goal
yards
to win.
away from
exactly.
a field goal.
So
That's
as they lined up, were you paying close enough attention to figure out, okay, where are they going with the football as they lined up on that play?
Well, they wanted to go to C.D. Lamb.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was smothered.
The rush came from that side.
You know what I was looking at? I was looking at where's 37. Where's 37 on the Jacksonville defense, and that's Trey Herndon, because they were eating his lunch all day. It's just like when Jacksonville had the ball and they were saying, "Where's number 1?"
Exactly.
Okay, let's throw it at number 1.
Yes.
Okay. And so I was hoping that CD, 37 was lined up in the slot. Okay.
To the right.
On the right side of the offense. And I was hoping that CD he had CD, but he didn't. He had Noah Brown instead. And so then they run the shallow crossing route with Noah Brown. And so, but if you look at the replay, you're sitting. So why is Rayshon Jenkins, the safety, sitting there on the other side of the field and there's nobody in his area? He's in his zone coverage underneath like that. He was in the perfect position to help 37 on the shallow cross coming across.
We get into a pattern.
And so he was in perfect position to catch a tip pass and run it in for a touchdown. Okay. They didn't draw it up that way. It just so happened that he was in that spot, but he was there to help on that shallow cross in some way, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, I know nothing, and I knew that that would be a great guy to attack is number 37. So Jacksonville's defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell has to be sitting there going, they're going to try to go at 37.
That's right.
And so.
And then he catches
it's smart to run. It's a safe play to run that little shallow cross to pick up 3 yards.
And it's not a bad pass because he threw it low.
He threw
he
threw a perfect pass.
But it's his interception, and he didn't know what he's doing.
It is his interception, but still, it was the perfect pass. It is what it is.
But I think you do credit Jacksonville for being in position to make the play defensively
I don't credit that. That's like saying
the problem.
They fell into it.
He fell into it. I can't give him credit for falling into it.
And he catches the ball 6 inches off the ground.
Right. That I give him credit for. Just a heads up alertness to watch the ball and the ability, the quickness to take it. Otherwise, it just fell into his lap.
And what also got lost in the shovel, 23. How do you say it? Oluokun. He blocked Dak in the back. Dak was the last one to be able to make the tackle.
Right.
And he blocked him right in the back into the sideline.
What yard line was that on?
That was right as he tried to cross that, like 20 yards.
He was the last one he was going to clear. So Dak probably
25, 20 yards.
No, it was farther upfield
because
he threw the pass from the 47.
There was a 52-yard return.
It might have been
40-yard line.
About the 40-yard line.
Yeah,
they were roughly in field goal range.
That should have been 15 yards.
15 yards had to push them back to their own 50.
Yeah.
I mean 45.
So there's a lot of, and that's when you lose games like this.
When you lose games, we notice all these little things.
And then everybody thinks that one instance would work, the game would work out just the way it did anyway. Like everybody was disputing the third down call in
3rd and 10
in regulation when Dak was trying again hit CD and he said they basically smothered him. And I guess his next option was to go deep to Noah Brown, who kind of could have caught that ball.
You got to better track it better. He's still backing up. The ball's right there. Why are you backing up? You got to go up and get it. He's waiting for it here. It's almost like he caught it late.
Right.
And the guy was kind of screwing around with him a little bit, but that's how you play ball. If I'm a DB, I'm going to screw around with you a little bit.
No worse than that call in the end zone last night at the end. Or no call, I should say.
I don't know how this goes now. I guess a little like basketball.
Yeah.
We don't call things at the end of the game. If that's the case, cool. I'm killing somebody. I'm taking a crowbar out there at the end of the game.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of playing at the park basketball when you're trying to play to 17 and they got 16 and you just foul everybody.
Yes, that's what they're doing. That's how basketball became the way it is now in regards to the last seconds.
But again, that led to the second guess on why did they throw the ball there.
I got got to second guess that, Spags.
They should have ran it.
I got to second guess
and sucked
that.
their last time
And that's
out.
what you do.
But
to
that
me,
doesn't mean they
normal.
didn't have a timeout. The game would have played out the way it did.
But it does mean that they would not have a timeout that would help them on that drive.
But they ended up with an extra timeout because of the review on the catch that you guys didn't see on TV. But because I went back and looked at it on the big screen at the stadium, they showed every look the guy had as an iPad. They didn't do that on television. Mm-hmm. And there was one look from behind where you could see between the guy's legs.
Oh, he dropped that ball.
The ball is laying on the
you
ground.
You could see it from the side angle. Not this angle, but it was like from the side angle to where either he had a baby, either he had the delivery, or the ball came out.
And even if they had ruled it a catch, the review stopped the clock. Mm-hmm. That catch was in the field of play, and I know they say they run 10 or they started the clock right away, mm-hmm. right? Which Jacksonville didn't realize, and it ran 10 seconds off before they snapped it. But think about what would have happened if that was a catch. By time they get up, get back to the line of scrimmage, place the ball, more time would have run off the clock.
No, but
well, we know how much time. It would have been more than 14 seconds because that's what happened to the Cowboys against the Niners.
Well, it depends on where he's running from, though.
Yeah.
But we know it's at least 14 seconds because that's what it was against the Niners in the playoff game, right?
The guy from the side would have came in, picked the ball up, and placed it. But still, they would have had to either use their timeout there or they would have had to down the ball, right? But having said all that.
They would have clocked it, yeah.
Having said all that, you don't have to give up a 19-yard pass on the next play.
You don't.
Right?
Well, the next play was play to the tight end where he scrambled out of bounds, which they.
And then the next one.
Yeah.
Which, and I think they showed this on TV, right? Donovan Wilson blitzing.
Yeah.
And he's got his hands up in the air, and somehow the ball went
right through him.
How did that happen?
Man.
All he had to do was do this.
If his release is not as quick as it was, then he would have touched it.
Right.
But that's a quick release by that young man.
So all those little things end up adding up, and you get beat 40-34 in overtime. You get beat scoring 34 points.
And that's my thing. We can talk all the crap we want about mistakes made here and there. I give you 34 points for this great defense that we have. That's all I can say. You got 34 points, man. You can't work with 34 points? I mean, come on.
So two of the Cowboys' losses, they scored 34 and 31 against the Packers when they got beat in overtime. Mm-hmm. Was that right? 31 against the Packers?
31-28, is that the final?
Or was it 28?
I think it's 31-28.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't score 30.
I was thinking of Vegas last year, 36-33. But yeah, and on top of that, you ended up giving up 503 yards. 503. That's where you lost the game. You know, you can pick all these little spots there.
You can pick them all you want. You're right.
Golly.
To me, it's up, once again, what we say, it's not about stats. It's not about numbers.
Win.
It's about moments. And to me, that moment of I don't want to I can't see passing the ball when you're letting the clock run out. You want to use the time. I cannot see us throwing the ball. When they lined up in the three wides or whatever they had, you just don't let that ball get in the air. If you do some type of bootleg. If it's not there, then you slide down. It takes more time off the clock. I don't know about more than a deep pass, but they weren't intending a deep pass. But you still take more time off the clock.
You got to make them use that timeout.
Make them use it. You got to make them use it. I don't understand.
But in the situation, it's 3rd and 10. It's not 3rd and 3.
Thank you.
And so what are the odds of converting 3rd and 10? We rely on analytics so much. Well, what do the analytics say on converting 3rd and 10?
It's just common sense.
Mm-hmm,
analytics a lot is a lot of common sense. Mm-hmm. And to me, I don't need numbers to tell me that. You know, that just was. It went back to our pattern, and I was talking with my boy Nate from Frisco, and we were talking about you've got to run the ball as well as you began running the ball.
Maybe
you cannot go away from what got you where you are right now.
Maybe he was playing scared to his defense.
I believe that too.
He wanted to end the game there.
I believe that also.
He was scared to give them the ball.
I believe that also.
And you know what else happened on that? Special teams wasn't very good.
Nope, they were not.
They let that guy return the ball. What did he get to? The 30-yard line?
Yep.
29.
To your point.
The kickoffs.
Here's your point. As we see that the game is getting closer and closer, we always make jokes about people's sphincter getting tighter
and tighter.
Okay, that's real stuff. That's real stuff. Okay, I've been there. I'm sure you guys have had moments to where you're like, I can't do anything right now because I am not showing poise. Good teams, the 90s teams. I don't want to go back to my Giants days. The 90s Cowboys had poise. When things started to go wrong, there was going to be one or several players. They're going to lock that down. Okay, guys, our attitude right now, I'm going to show you, first of all, by my play. We're going to stop all of this. Everybody get on the same page. When you have a game like this, we all want to take our turn to see who can screw up the most. And that's what happens when you have no poise on this team. Someone's got to stop the leak. And you had no one doing it at all.
And to that point is when you're up 27-10 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. They score on a 59-yard pass to make it 27-17 with 3:57 left. You get the football back. And you return it only to the 15-yard line. You get sacked on the first play. It's 2nd and 18 from your own 7-yard line, and then you throw an interception.
No poise. That's coming from the quarterback all the way down.
That's when the snowball gets rolling.
You can't let that happen.
You had to be in the stadium to understand it because those people were asleep. Mm-hmm. And the Cowboys had a lot of fans
It's
there.
a college environment, Spags. I knew this was going to happen.
27-17, and all of a sudden everybody woke up, right? And then you end up getting the kickoff, and all he gets is to the 16. They actually gave him the 16-yard line. 15 yards. He ran it back 15, and he got to the 16. I don't know if they kicked short on purpose and thought they could cover it, but there was nowhere for Turpin to run.
The blockers were backing up.
Yes.
The wall was backing up into him. They weren't moving forward at all. It's like they were surprised that he actually brought it out.
So once
the game was backing up too.
So once that kickoff took place,
could feel it.
Yeah,
the walls were caving in here.
Once that kickoff took place, and I'm thinking, okay, you got to calm these people down, and they tried to throw the ball, and he gets sacked for 8 yards, right? And then they try to throw it again, and he's going to get sacked again, right? Mm-hmm. And he's getting tugged from behind when he throws it, and it goes way up in the air. Interception, and I was sitting there going, well,
of course,
game on.
Of course.
They caught a break because there was a penalty that pushed them back to the 39-yard line, but on the first play, Agnew goes for 30 yards down to the 9-yard line.
No poise. I'm still going.
And Kelvin Joseph was still in the game, and it was a touchdown to Marvin Jones, and all of a sudden it's 27-24 with a minute 23 left, and then it's a 3-and-out, and then Jacksonville scores again.
Hey, so
and all of a sudden
we all got stuff. Let's go.
Kelvin Joseph is no longer in the game.
Man,
giving up 2
he
touchdowns.
Did not come back in at all.
Deshaun Wright came in.
They should have just taken his helmet because I did not see him touch the field again.
They did, and I didn't realize it. So I got to. We got to go to break. I'll pull back.
Oh, we got much more.
Yeah, I'll pull back the curtain when we come back.
All right, we're pulling back the curtain when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
We got much more.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, kpostcompany.com.
All right. Segment 2 of Mick Shots, where Mickey pulls back the curtain.
So at 7:27 in the morning on Sunday, I get a phone call, and the lady that coordinates and produces the Compass radio broadcast, the national radio deal that does the Cowboy games, says Danny White, who's the analyst for the broadcast, his flight got canceled in Dallas. Can you step in and be the analyst on the radio broadcast?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, yeah. So anyway, I did the broadcast.
I didn't know that.
Man.
Wow.
Well, you wouldn't have seen it, right, or heard it.
It's not broadcast in the Dallas Fort Worth.
So what happens is...
Wait, it's not broadcast anywhere?
Well, anywhere on the network. And so not only...
They just playing.
So not only did his flight got canceled, he got rescheduled, and he finally got there like early in the second quarter. But on that flight also that got canceled was Skip Peete, the Cowboys running backs coach. His mom passed away last week, and the funeral was Saturday. So he went back to California for the funeral, figured he could fly in game day, get to Jacksonville. He was on that flight too, so he got to the game late. So anyway, I was doing the broadcast.
Did they let you stay on the broadcast when Danny got there?
We had a 3-man booth. Okay. I was all ready to hand my headset to the quarterback, right? And
his Cowboys were playing much better when you were in the booth.
Yes,
by yourself.
Absolutely.
Hey, Nathan Frisco says, you guys go into towns that don't have Cowboy on radio.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway, I got to do that. So, and I don't remember why I wanted to bring that up, but
no, that's very cool.
What are
the odds?
When you're doing the game like that on radio, see, usually I've got the game on my laptop, and I can watch it off my home TV, right? And I can replay things. But you can't do that when you're on the radio, right? And the screen we had was really hard to see.
See, that's why I have these notebooks. One of these days, I'm going to get a call on a Sunday morning.
One of these days.
Nance and Romo are going to be scheduled to do the Cowboy game, and Nance is going to have laryngitis, and I'm going to get a phone call.
Well,
that's what I
suddenly, hey, I know the guy.
I suddenly spent
like
the morning.
They would pick me.
Like, ding. Here comes Romo.
It would be in some closet somewhere like.
I spent the morning then getting more prepared than just thinking I got it all in my head. And as the game goes, I can look it up.
Yeah.
Because you're on radio, you can't look it up, right? You got to know it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Kevin that does the broadcast, he's
Kevin Ray.
He's really good.
Excellent.
Really good.
Kevin Burkhardt started
and
doing
we saw
that.
him on the sideline when we were talking to him.
But that was where basically he got his start with doing NFL broadcasts.
Kevin does the Suns. He's the play-by-play guy for the Suns, so that's why he had a game that night, and he shows up at about 2 or 3 in the morning because of his travel stuff.
Wow.
But he's really good. He sees things. I always think the play-by-play guy doesn't see everything, right? You got to concentrate on the ball.
Of course.
And there were a couple instances he saw something that I was getting ready to say, and I had to go, "You're right, Kevin," because he saw the block or the missed block or the missed tackle.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good.
And by the way, and Burkhardt does a great job too. And Greg Olson does a really good job on Fox also.
I like Greg.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching the game yesterday. In fact, I think I may have Kevin Burkhardt's number somewhere. I was going to text him during the game and tell him what a good job I thought they were doing, and particularly Olson.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Can we listen to it somewhere? Is it archived somewhere?
I don't know if they could send me a copy of it.
Yeah.
He's hoping no. He's hoping no.
That's why I said when the interception happened, I didn't want to go.
Yeah, is there I want to hear your reaction.
It wasn't. There was no reaction. I just left my mouth open like.
Because you're trying. Hey, this entire episode could be a rant.
Because
okay?
you gotta let.
I mean, come on.
You gotta let the play guy, play
Call
it
it
out.
out,
I didn't want to be like Dale Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
Leon Latt.
That was fun stuff, though.
Like, Noah Brown. Oh, Noah Brown. So anyway, go on. We got probably much more.
We do. Okay.
I know what. Yeah. I know what. So then last night, I must have spent hours trying to figure out why the Cowboys needed Washington to lose.
I was trying to figure the same thing out. What difference did it make whether the Giants or Washington? There's got to be something deep in the tiebreaker. Because of the tie.
I have a Scott Ogolnik just texted me back when I texted him, and he goes, "Oh well, the Washington can't get to 10 wins," and I was like, "Oh yes, they can.
Right.
They win out." And so the tie in there kind of confused everything.
That's right.
Right.
Well, if you guys can see, this is the explanation he got from the NFL guy that does this stuff, because it was immediate. Like when the game was over, I was on NFL Jesus, and I clicked the standings, and the X was already there, like within a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, how did they figure that out? I understood why the Cowboys would win a tiebreaker with Detroit. Head-to-head. Mm-hmm. They could win it with Seattle because they would have they already have clinched a better NFC record. But why did it matter that Washington
must be a multiple
lost?
Tie situation?
That's what it ended up being. That if the Cowboys tied a game and they ended up tying Washington, like both teams finished 10-6-1, then it threw it into a 3-way tie with
maybe the Giants.
No, Detroit came into that occasion.
If Detroit also tied again,
yes, that's what it came down to, and they figured
that's
it out.
why they need computers for this stuff.
If all three teams tied, then the Cowboys might be in trouble. So, but because the Giants won, then they would have a tiebreaker over.
And if the situation was that the Giants, Lions, and Cowboys all tied at 10-6-1, Cowboys had the tiebreaker in that situation because they beat the Giants twice and they beat the Lions, so they had the tiebreaker. But we don't know.
But that had to happen because the tie was a possibility, and I never even considered that. I was just going crazy, like, well, they went out.
I'm glad to hear that explanation because I went on the air last night thinking, well, they're saying they've clinched, but I have no idea how they figure this thing out.
The ties had something to do with it.
Yeah. And of course they know that all in advance, and so that's why they put that check mark up immediately. But
pretty cool though. I mean,
so I don't understand.
Terrible game, but I mean we're in the playoffs, guys. Congratulations.
Well, here's the other thing about that is. I mean, what are the odds, Eagle? I mean, the Eagles are going to lose a game.
But here was
and the Eagles have Cowboys, Saints, Giants left. So they would have to lose all three of those games.
Right.
Of course, the Cowboys have Eagles, Titans, and Washington left.
So here was his scenario. If Washington had won, Philly wins the East, Minnesota wins the North, San Francisco wins the West, any team wins the South. The Giants loses to Washington last night, but wins the remaining games to finish 10-6-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dallas loses the remaining games to finish 10-7. Washington beats the Giants. Loses or ties next two games to beat Dallas in the final game to finish 9-6-2. Detroit wins remaining three games to finish 10-7.
Have you ever seen?
I know. You want tired head? When Scott started reading me this, I said,
we don't need to hear all that.
Just come down and join us, right? But it comes down.
Have we ever had a 2?
They had to figure.
Has anyone
2 ties?
2 ties.
Oh, back in the day, I bet.
Yeah,
when they didn't play
modern.
it out. The game just ended.
2 ties in the season has never happened.
I can't.
It was going to happen if the referees made a call last night.
Yeah, right?
Yes. Because that's what they were saying.
If the referees had made a call last night in the Washington Giants game, they could have both tied within 3 weeks.
I had such tired head. I was like, okay, Scott, I'm just going to take your. But they had to figure ties in there, not just wins and losses.
So mathematically, the Cowboys are not locked in to the number 5 spot, but they are virtually locked in at number 5 in the playoffs right now.
Right.
And that's what was so tragic about that loss yesterday is now, as a Cowboys fan, just the last 3 games of the season, it was going to be very intriguing when the Cowboys beat the Eagles on Christmas Eve, and because the Eagles would only have to lose one more game either against New Orleans, which, by the way, is in the hunt for the AFC South, the NFC South somehow, or the Giants. And as far as the wild card, the Cowboys have such a lead on everyone else in the wild card race to get that top wild card seeding at number 5 that it's virtually. I mean, you look at the last 3 games, and they almost are preseason games to getting ready for the playoffs because the Cowboys are virtually locked in at number 5 because other teams are going to lose games.
So they would end up playing Tampa Bay.
And so it looks like whoever wins the NFC South.
Well,
which could be any one of 4 teams right now.
Yeah. So anyway, if anybody was confused as I was last night, that's what the difference was, factoring in ties. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. All right. When we come back here on Mix Shots, we need the latest, if we have anything new, on Leighton Vander Esch and where the Cowboys stand as far as injuries go. And we continue in a moment.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Mick Shots.
'Tis the season for Dallas Cowboys holiday youth camps presented by Invisalign. Register for one-day football and dance academy camps are now open. Don't miss your chance to send your athlete to the camp at AT&T Stadium on December 20th and 21st. We're getting very close to that, aren't we? Limited spaces remain. Register today at DallasCowboys.com/academy.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow and Wednesday, right?
All right, here is the latest on Leighton Vander Esch, and it's been reported by most of the beat writers. I'll read from Todd Archer's Twitter. Per multiple sources, Leighton Vander Esch's injury is unrelated to the neck issue that required surgery in 2019 and more to do with a pinched nerve in his trapezius in his shoulder. Timeline to return not clear at the moment, but good news in that it's not related to a disc.
See, and the first thing when they announced that he was out, they said neck injury.
That's what they said.
And so that's what it manifested as a neck. And
but you got to know.
That's why he did the MRI.
It's still related, though, right? Well, we talked about this, how, you got your knee messed up, but then, you also mess up your hamstring because,
But he's recovered from the vertebrae fusion.
I don't mean that. I just mean the muscles that are connected to that.
Yeah,
they are also affected when you have an injury.
But that was a disc problem. That wasn't anything muscular. So he must have hit it wrong. But that's your leading tackler. But guess who ended up being the leading tackler in the game?
Who?
Damone Clark had 9 tackles. He was all over the place.
Yes, he had to be.
Right?
He had no choice. He was like, "Hey guys, somebody gonna make a play here?"
The defensive line wasn't holding up.
Yeah, somebody gonna make a play. Am I the only guy here making a play?
Luke Fortner.
Who?
Luke Fortner.
Oh,
my guy, the center for Jacksonville. I love that guy. I got a man crush on him. I had a man crush on him leading up to the draft, and he's out of Kentucky, and he has a lot of Travis Frederick about him. He's one of those guys like 24 years old, coming out of college with 2 degrees, and so he can set all the protections and everything. But what sold me on him was watching him against Georgia and against that big Jordan Davis, the monster nose tackle, and he would hold his own and he could anchor, and he's having a terrific rookie season for them.
So if you look at the tackles, the top 8 guys were all linebackers and DBs. Tied ninth with Carlo Watkins with 3 tackles, and then Micah Parsons had 2 tackles. He was next. Gallimore 2, Fowler 1. I thought your man Fowler was going to win the game because he was chasing down Lawrence on that 3rd down play from the backside. I said, "Oh, the former Jaguar, he's going to strike." And he didn't quite get there.
He didn't get credited with a quarterback pressure, and he should have on that one play. I don't remember when it was in the game. He actually almost got blocked into Lawrence, making him leave the pocket. Might have been on the touchdown pass.
So here's what's troubling. That's 1 sack in 2 games.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
what about Dorrance Armstrong now?
They only had 4 quarterback hits. I think he had it. Well, he missed, and that's where I was going to go. And I'm sorry, I was going to talk injuries because they're starting to get diminishing returns.
Yes, they are.
No kidding.
Armstrong was limited all last week with an ankle, and he
went down
hurt
in this
his
game.
knee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they showed it on TV, but when he was laying there, he kept. You know how your heel's on the ground, and he kept trying to do like this with his knee. So we'll see where that one is. But, again, he is your starting right defensive end. He played 14 snaps. Now, he was going to be limited because of the ankle, but then he did that. So 14 snaps in the game. Van Der Esch had 5. And then your backup left cornerback played 37 before they took him out. And Nashawn Wright ended up playing 19.
And he's okay because he was rocked a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Is he okay?
Yeah, I don't think we got an injury report on him.
On who?
He was a little dizzy. Nashawn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so your left corner out. And Deron Bland played pretty well, except I think for one play.
Yeah.
Lewis is out. Hankins is out for the rest. Your backup at left corner didn't play very well. Van Der Esch played 5 snaps.
He's out.
And then on offense, they actually pushed it out of necessity because they started Tyron Smith. We've gone, almost 40 minutes, 35 minutes. He starts the game, but their idea was they were going to do a rotation with Peters and maybe play him 30, 35 snaps. Well, Tyron Smith ended up playing 54 snaps because Peters was struggling pass blocking over there.
He was having problems.
And they said, you know what, we got to go with him. Because they had.
I think Nate in Frisco forecasted that.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He was not mixing words.
And so, and a couple times when they went 3 tight ends, they used Josh Ball as the 3rd tight end. By the way, not Peters.
And by the way, I think they missed Jake Ferguson in the run game yesterday.
Yes, because there was a couple runs there. Oh, I wrote it down. Schultz just blew the block on the outside.
And it
was on that running play that they ended up losing 3 yards, maybe.
That was huge.
Was
that Zeke?
Yeah, was that overtime?
Yeah, that was at the end of regulation, which ended in the 3rd and 10 decision to throw it deep.
Right.
And that's what killed that possession right there. Now you're facing 2nd and 13. You give it to Pollard. He got the 3 back. Now you're facing 3rd and 10.
Right. He missed the block because they credit it to the safety coming in. Probably was Jenkins. He did everything else. Never hurt.
He had like 18 tackles in the game.
Well, he had 18 tackles.
As soon as he had that pick, because they had just said on the broadcast that he had 18 tackles in the game, and then he had the pick 6, and he also had the interception earlier in the game. I said, well, you can just award the NFC Defensive Player of the Week right now.
Yeah. And so, but the reason he made the tackle is they didn't block. Schultz missed his block, and so it kind of got everything.
What position does he play?
Safety.
So if that safety's making a bunch of tackles,
he was on the line of scrimmage.
That means we're getting up and down the field also.
Yeah.
We're making him make all the tackles.
But he was on the line of scrimmage on that one.
That means that we're on the other side of their line of scrimmage.
Well, they had almost 400 yards offense.
34
right?
points,
34
man.
Points.
I'm sorry. It comes down to that. It comes down to that. There are going to be games where, yes, they're going to make plays. Damn it, these guys, they get paid also.
Lawrence is pretty good.
And what did I tell you last week? He's a baller, and he's a winner.
He is good.
You just know that of him. Just like you fell in love with the center. Everyone knows about Sunshine. Everyone knows that eventually he's going to be that guy.
DeMarcus Lawrence.
And we can't let him come out of his bag on us.
DeMarcus Lawrence told me after the game, he said they've got a really good quarterback that's going to be a really great quarterback.
Damn right.
Yeah, that's right.
And you can just see
he was right.
And so, once again, poise.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence knows he's going to be great, but don't let him be great. When you set the edge, you set the edge.
And he saved their offensive line. How many sacks they almost had, right? Or how many quarterback hits they almost had, and he escaped. I didn't realize he was that elusive.
No, I knew that.
But he got outside the pocket, and he was getting outside, not outside, kind of in the middle. Just, they didn't keep him contained. And that helps your that's why he's not getting sacked.
That's nothing new, Spags.
Right?
This is how he plays.
They went at 6 games with giving up no sacks, and now it's back-to-back games with 1 sack. Parsons the only one to get a sack against them in the last 2 games.
And this team is trending at the right time for them.
Yes.
Okay? And we could see it before our game, and that's why this game always made me
You think Tennessee's kind of squirming right now?
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing they got to play them the last game?
Yes.
And if they lose one more.
See, Jacksonville turns around.
They are not going to beat Jacksonville.
Jacksonville turns around this week. How about their schedule? This is what you would want as an NFL player. Okay, you played the Cowboys at home. Now you go play the Jets on Thursday. And so then they get Christmas weekend off, and they're on this roll right now. They've won 4 of their last 6 games. Yes. They beat the Jets to be 5 out of 7. Yes. Then they go Christmas for 3 days. Then they don't come back next week, and they got 2 games to close out the season with a great chance to win their division and host a playoff game.
They have one of the best offensive minds in their head coach as well.
Good game planner.
Yes, he is.
Oh, and by the way, I did run into Dave Campo in the press box.
I bet he was happy.
I was sitting there I
would have ignored him. Yeah.
And it was before the game, and I heard
what was he wearing? Dave?
I heard the voice. right? And I said, "Oh, Campo's here, right?" Oh, and he was behind where the rows of
I would
press
not have
box
talked
was.
to him. I'd have been busy.
Got to give him a good hug, and then afterwards, I saw him when I was going down on the elevator, and he said, "See, I told you guys, this team's just got something special going."
They do,
and he's right. Yeah. They're just kind of making the moments, right?
The moments. Man.
That's you can have all the yards, all that we can talk about, the moments. And he didn't have a Jaguars shirt on.
Okay, all right. It's just. A former NFL head coach hanging out in a press box, whatever. It reminded me of this was 30 years ago. The Cowboys were playing Tampa Bay. And remember Abe Gibron, who was the Bears head coach, whatever. Well, apparently in his retirement, he used to hang out at in the Tampa Bay press box. They would just have him a spot. I guess he lived in the Tampa area, whatever. So there was on the seating chart, there was a seat for Abe Gibron there. Jerry Orr, the Channel 8 reporter,
Jerry Orr.
He says, Abe Gibron, I thought he was dead. Abe Gibron is right there. Said, nope, I'm alive. That was just a random story.
Jerry Orr, he was one of my favorites. I like Jerry Orr.
One of Campo's greatest moments, the Cowboys were at Minnesota. And Minnesota came back to send the game into overtime. So for some reason, wherever he was sitting, I think it was Minnesota, maybe it was something else, you could hear the coach's box through the ventilation duct, right, into the press box, right? And so they're going out for the snap, and Campo goes, "Oh, my aching da-da-da." He goes, "Please win the toss." It was so damn funny. It happened at the Giants too.
Which is the same line that he used on Hard Knocks,
yes,
right?
Yeah. You know what he used, right?
Yeah.
And then I think it was a Giants game. The same thing happened, and Norv Turner calling the plays, right? And Troy gets to the line of scrimmage. He gets the snap. He just takes one snap, and Turner starts screaming, "Throw the effing ball! Throw it!" And Troy stopped back, gets his back foot, and throws it to the open guy. But Norv saw it immediately at the snap, right? And he's yelling at him to throw the ball.
That's why Norv was Norv.
Right?
That's why they were good.
Yeah, he was the best.
All right, and we close with this final word from Nate in Frisco. It's already been a better day today, wouldn't you say?
No.
We got good news on Leighton Vander Esch, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nate in Frisco closes with this. Just win.
That's right.
Okay? That's all you got to do. Just win. Wow.
The Eagles figured that out with their 5-point blasting of the Bears, right? The Chiefs figured that out in overtime over the Texans. And, and the Colts figured it out the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff is going to be returning.
You know.
I think that was his last.
Yeah, that was
hurrah.
It was Black Saturday for Jeff Saturday.
I was watching.
That was a red Saturday, like red wedding. That was a red Saturday.
Yeah. I was watching the game, and the plane just took off, and I think it was 33-0 at that time. Or it might have been 33-7, right? And it was like, doggone it. And I couldn't get it, the Wi-Fi in the plane. Well, they gave us the wrong code. Wasn't working. And Babe.
Where were you on?
Babe goes.
What airline were you on?
Babe goes.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Babe goes. Babe goes. Oh, he goes. We're going to miss the greatest comeback ever in the NFL. And I said,
sure enough.
Yeah, sure, right. And then
Sure enough, it was.
It's like the networks knew something, because as soon as they fell behind to a certain point, they made a point to put it up. No team has ever come back from this deficit.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, thanks. You know,
By 1 point, it was the Frank Reich comeback, the Bills against the Houston Oilers, which was 30 years ago. The 30-year anniversary of that's coming up.
But
here.
that was a playoff.
But the point is, regular season or playoffs. So that was a 32-point comeback. It
but
was
just think of the connection there.
And
Frank Reich used to coach for
Yeah,
but
that's right.
But how about the other connection with Matt Ryan, the comeback in the Super Bowl?
Ah, yeah.
And he's the quarterback for this.
Yeah, sorry, Matt.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. That will forever be your legacy.
All right, we got a lot to talk about, and we're moving quickly because it's a Saturday game, right?
That's right. Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's back to practice tomorrow, right?
I bet he gives him a day off.
Another day?
Don't you think?
It's open locker room at 11 tomorrow. So
Open locker room at 11 tomorrow.
Well, so he's pushing it off.
Play the rant music. They don't need any time off.
That's right.
That's right. They will have a walkthrough.
we can talk about it tomorrow, though.
All right. And we'll talk at you tomorrow here on Mick Shots.
Yes, we
Go
will.
Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?